Good morning from Los Angeles. Welcome to Trading with Sergio. How is everyone doing? How was your weekend? Good morning. Every Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, Trading with Sergio. The red hat is on today, folks. We'll go through a lot of stuff. We'll go through what macro or economic news are coming out today. Let's take a look at that shortly. Crypto definitely taking the next leg down, or at least retesting the old low from a couple of weeks ago. Looks like it. I have a couple of positions that are taking well, yeah, I mean, obviously they're bleeding at the moment, but then I will add to the positions when I go through the position screen. I'll just go through it real quickly. The disadvantage, obviously, is you're going against the trend, right? We're basically catching a falling knife. And, I honestly took myself off. I didn't delete my account, obviously, so I have a decent following, but I took myself off the Twitter YOLOers and gurus and furus about BMNR, BMNU, and all that good stuff. Yeah, welcome to Trading with Sergio every Monday and Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and every Friday, Power Hour with Sergio. I just posted actually a video on Friday. It's called talks about the canary in the coal mine. I would like all of you to go check it out. Actually, what's the canary in the coal mine? It's the carry trade. What's going on with it? There's a lot of talk about that. I don't think a lot of people understand the mechanics of it. So I would all of you to go check it out. There were actually 2 videos last week. It clearly explains what the carry trade is. It's kind of confusing because when you enter JGB interest rates, US interest rates, the currency fluctuation, obviously, that's taking place, what the Japanese government is doing, what we're doing with our interest, or what we're trying to do with our interest rates. But then again, there is a video coming out today at noon Pacific talking about my pivot. I will religiously stick to it in 2026. So I will finish 2025 with a positive year. I may be carrying some unrealized losses into 2026, but I'm okay with those positions because you can't have everything go your way, obviously. However, 2026 predictions, we'll probably do those last week of December. And the Santa rally everybody expected after the rate cuts, not there. I don't think it's going to be there. A lot of people are depending on it. A lot of high beta stocks are getting smashed today, especially in the AI world. I have my list ready. I do work on the weekend, so I highly recommend you guys do work. And then, in fact, it's paper and pen, folks. So you pick your stocks for the week, and then when they get to your levels, you enter, and then you exit when you need to exit. But I'm going to talk about the pivot on a video on today, actually, at noon. So check that out. Talks about win rates, talks about obviously money management. This is something that I think most of us don't do because we get mesmerized by these high beta stocks flying all over the place, up 10 points, down 20, up 50, all the points that we're talking about here. But then at some point, one has to make a decision is what do we want to stick to? Do we want to stick to the crazy names with sky-high valuations, even after a 40-50% pullback? Do we want to stick to those names, or do we want to go slow and steady and then extreme money management? And that video will clarify whatever I'm going to try to do in 2026. What else is going on? Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Well, okay, we'll go through those. And let me go real quickly through the key events this week. So on Tuesday, tomorrow, October retail sales. I think retail sales were pretty good for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I certainly did. I certainly did my share of increasing the GDP of the country. especially in electronics. There were some really, really good deals out there. And on Tuesday, November jobs report. Okay, second, the BLS, I think, has caught up because of the government shutdown. BLS was not putting out any numbers. I don't think it made that much of a difference, honestly. November jobs report, Tuesday. November CPI on Thursday. December Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. I'm not sure that's that important. October now, listen to the dates, right? If I say October, see, tomorrow, October retail sales are coming out because BLS was shut down, but due to the government shutdown, we're still behind, lagging on some numbers. On some numbers, we've caught up. Again, these numbers are not for day traders, obviously, but swing traders or fundamentalists, they have to pay attention to it. But the numbers are from 2 months ago. In 2 months, things have changed. And so October retail sales tomorrow, October, which is kind of meaningless, really. November jobs report, that could be important. November CPI inflation, that's really important, Thursday. December Philly Fed index, manufacturing index, Thursday. Okay, whatever, nothing burger. Friday, October inflation data. Again, 2 months behind. We know where home affordability is in this country. So November existing home sales data is coming out. I think the price correction has started in a lot of cities and states as far as real estate is concerned. And on Friday, Michigan inflation expectation data. On Friday, again, Michigan consumer sentiment data. Those are also almost nothing burgers. For me, the most important number is going to be on Thursday, November CPI. And October PCE could be, and then obviously tomorrow, November jobs report. Those three out of all the stuff I think is going to be important. The video that's coming out today talks about my pivot. Please go check it out. The video that I put out talks about the canary in the coal mine. My concern is, well, I'm pretty sure carry trade is over with. That's been put on into the trillions over the last decade because of the interest rate differences in the country, in the two countries, or around the globe, actually. So Japan was real quick. Japan was in a deflationary cycle. They came out of it by keeping their own ZERP for 15 years. Deflation is a lot worse than inflation, in my opinion, anyway. And so now they're raising rates because their own JGB rates, Japanese government bond rates, are shooting through the roof. One of the reasons is their lack of fiscal discipline, like us. We're going to hit 39 trillion in another 40 days in this country when it comes to national debt. That has to get serviced, right? There is an interest rate cost because those are all short to long-term bonds. Well, somebody holds those. Those are all IOUs. We just spread around the globe. We have to pay interest, just like, when you go get a car loan or a mortgage, you have to pay interest. Well, we pay interest on those. And when we had ZERP rates, interest was okay, right? No big deal. But then now, when the rates are shooting up, the new issues, the new bonds that we have to put out have to be at the current rate or higher than before to entice the new buyers of these bonds to hold these bonds for 10, 20, 30 years sometimes. So in Japan, the problem is their debt to GDP ratio is about 230%, and ours is about 130, 35%. Well, what's happening in Japan is that the long end of the curve, 10, 20, 30-year JGB rates are shooting through the roof. They're up to over 3.5% in the 30-year, about 280 on the 20-year, and about 2% on the 10-year. So before, when they were all zero, literally, or sometimes actually they went negative, the short end. So what happened is that a lot of folks, including institutions from Japan, insurance companies, whatever not, hedge funds, around the globe, they went and borrowed in Japan and then came and invested in the US. And then that was done with leverage. It wasn't done just by one-to-one. But it was easy money, right? You borrow at 0, you invest at 5, you hedge the currency, you're good. Well, that has ended. Today, if I was a hedge fund and was going to go do a carry trade, I can't. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I could, but it doesn't make sense. Because if I were to go borrow a 10-year rate in Japan at 2%, as opposed to 0. Now come and invest in the US with our 10-year rates about 380. Well, the spread between those two has shrunk immensely. That's because the Japanese rates are shooting up. So, okay, so the liquidity is done now. That liquidity that was created, that was the push behind the sales of the US stock market, equities, bonds, that's done. The problem now for me, the bigger problem is the existing ones, the trillions, when and if those will be unwound. Now, the unwinding of that is going to be brutal. We had a little bit of an episode of it last August. When the first domino starts, falls, many more could. I'm not saying will, could. So the unwinding of the existing carry trade into the trillions is the issue. Is not that it's going forward. Well, one of the part of the issue is going forward. The liquidity has been sucked out of the market due to the carry trade, because that was supporting the equities, that was supporting the bond markets. The other thing is Japan is the largest treasury holder, treasury bond note holder of the U.S., up to $1.2 trillion. Will they be, some of the Japanese institutions may decide to repatriate those funds back into the U.S. I mean, from the U.S. into their own country, because now their own rates are 3.5% on the 30-year and almost 3% on the 20-year. So they go like, why do we need to go to the U.S. with currency risk? We can invest in our own country. Well, if that happens, a lot of bonds and notes may be sold. But the bigger issue is Japanese institutions and a lot of global sovereign funds and institutions own trillions and trillions of stocks, because the carry trade was not just to go from bond to note to bond to note. It also bought a lot of the Mag 10s. It also bought, trillions of dollars of U.S. stocks have been bought. So going forward, that liquidity has ended. Additional liquidity has ended. And then the unwinding is a potential now. Market's sensing that. It's pretty obvious. Like, we opened up today, gapped up, and then, of course, within minutes, we were negative. And so what do we do? Well, it's also affecting crypto, obviously. We know what's going on with Ethereum and Bitcoin today. For me, that was like where it bounced and stopped. It was exactly where it should have. The pullback now we're getting is a retest. If we make a lower low, the next leg is coming down, folks. I could see Ethereum go down to 2,400. I could see, and then what are all those BMNR fools going to do, right? They go BMNR. I'm like, BMNR is not going to do anything unless Ethereum moves. If Ethereum moves down, BMNR is going to move down. The only advantage BMNR has, and they're the only DAT now at the moment, they're about 1 MNAV. And I've done a lot of videos about MNAV. I don't want to get into it now. So go check them out. I mean, look, educate yourself. Buyer beware, right? I'm in 2x ETF of BMNR and BMNU. Luckily, my cost basis is a lot lower than some of you that come to this channel and talk about it. In fact, I will add to the position, create a full position out of it by Friday by selling some puts. If I do get assigned, great. If not, no big deal. I had already put out 8, 9, 10, 11 calls on BMNU with decent numbers. So those are going to expire worthless, obviously lower the cost basis some more. Luckily, on BMNU, you're carrying such call premiums that at some point, literally my cost basis will go to 0. Again, I'm not a huge fan of cover calls, but in this case, with as much volatility as we're experiencing, and very high implied volatility levels of over 230% in BMNU, I think they're worthwhile selling cover calls. I mean, again, I say it on Twitter, I say it to my members, selling cover calls is like picking, pennies in front of the bulldozer. In this case, it's not pennies, it's a lot of dollars. So in certain cases, yes, cover calls have their way, and especially if your cost basis is low. But for example, if you're in Oracle, and if you sold puts and you got assigned at 300, stock is 175, 180. What good does a cover call do for you? Yeah, it will lower your cost basis by a couple of bucks, but then you're so far deep in the money now, in the hole now, then what are you going to do, right? So that's why the pivot is happening. Check out the video again today at noon. The pivot for me is going to happen, and I'm going to stick to my 52-week high list. Buy low, sell high does not work, folks. It works until it doesn't, and it still does. Look, I'm not saying, you can't do some chopsticks and look at support and resistance level and do things. But for me, A 52-week high list that you create not only will give you the advantage of understanding where the money is rotating, because money is coming out of the high flyers. Where is it going? It's got to go somewhere. It's not going into T-bills. So that you can understand what's going on with rotation. I mean, if you, I looked at my list today. I'll show you guys my list. I think there are over 150 stocks, even with the markets selling off. Even in the worst days, even in the worst bear markets, you will find stocks that are making 52-week highs consistently, and you need to stick to that. And so for me, what happens is that the pivot becomes buy low, sell high. Okay, we could do some of that, patiently waiting on some of the names that we want to accumulate, but it also tells me where the rotation is. It also tells me where the money is going, right? And this is big money, institutional money. We're not talking, YOLOers from Robinhood, and because those will be all gone pretty soon, because they're still in the same 10 stocks, literally. The whole internet talks about 10 stocks. I mean, there's 10,000 stocks, folks, right? Figure it out. Find a basket that's working out for you, and so that's going to be the pivot. So, good morning. Let's answer some questions, and I'll go to the positions. Good morning. Good morning. We're good up there. Yeah, we're good. We're all right. We don't panic. We're not panicking, although we like taking losses. Good morning, Sergio. I have 25% of BM&R 7 CSPs expiring 12/19 this Friday. Should I roll now or sit back? You got to sit back and wait, my man. Okay, if that's the plan, then you have a plan. Congrats. At least you have a plan. Most people don't even have plans. Remember my 3 Ps, right? Patience, position, size, and planning. At least, I see your plan clearly. You may be right, you may be wrong. I don't know. But market will, certainly tell you. I sold this morning some 7 CSPs actually for December. I want to add to my BMNU position and create a full position out of it. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. There's so much premium in those, it doesn't make sense to roll. I mean, if you're intent to get assigned, then get assigned. Why roll? Take the shares. Good morning. I'm doing fine. Yeah. Not adding anything. I'm watching a couple of stocks on my list. If they get to where I want them to get to, I'm going to definitely take advantage of that. Manny P, good morning. That's an old name. That's an old girlfriend. We traded that one. I'm going to try to, like I said, going forward, whatever position I take in, they have to be in the 52-week high list. So 52-week high list will also get you to buy high, sell higher. And you're going to say, well, in this type of market, what if? Well, this is the deal. If you buy the top tick on a 52-week high list and stock, that was the absolute top, you're the unluckiest person on the planet, but then you create money management for yourself, and then you get the heck out. Put a 7, 10, 12, 15, whatever percent stop you need to put, and get the heck out. Take your loss. Good morning, traveler. You're more than welcome to visit the other channel for that one. Dear Funk, yeah, we gotta take losses. I don't know. I feel for you, man. I mean, I'm dealing with a couple of folks like that. Actually, I'm coaching on the side personally. They're in the same boat as you are. They're higher. They're in the 25, 30 levels. So, yeah. Yeah, the slippage or the volatility drag, as it's called, is bad. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I feel for you. What chances do you put Yankee Air trade unwinding and creating an air pocket? Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, you'll be able to tell the volatility will pick up, the bids will disappear. Go visit what happened last August. You have the first episode last August. Look how quick that was. It was a quick 15-20% cut from the indexes, and then underlying stocks got smashed. If you look, this is no rocket science, okay? If the market goes down 10%, and if your whole portfolio is full of 3, 4, 5 beta stocks, you're going to lose 30, 40, 50%. Because the rule of thumb is if the market goes down and the index goes down 10%, and if you're holding 3 beta stock, it's going to go down 30%. It's a given, or sometimes more, sometimes less, but on average, that's what's going to do. That's why it's called the beta. Right? Yeah, there may be in demand 52-week high list. Is that Conagra? Yeah, potentially. I don't know. Are you advising folks in the 20s to sell cover calls? So I'm not advising anything. By the way, this is not financial trading or investment advice. Can't do that. Are you advising your folks in the 20s to sell cover calls? Or so? We're not in the 20s, my man. We're in the 6s. No, I mean, you're stuck. You just got to hope that Ethereum rallies. At this point, your only horse in the race is Ethereum rallies to where Tom Lee says it's going to go. If it does, you should be all good. You won't even think about it. But you're going to get assigned at some point because you're so deep in the money that even if you do roll, you're not going to create more credits. And more in shock, how quick. Yeah, look at Oracle. I mean, it's got cut in half. This is Oracle, folks. You guys remember the gap up day when they did the circle jerk with OpenAI? Not long ago, maybe 3 months ago. 350, we're down to 175. That's 50% down. This is Oracle. If that happened to Oracle, that's certainly going to happen to your quantum computing stocks, which it has, or some of these AI power generators, like everybody talks about, because they're always in the same 10 stocks: IREN, NBIS, OKLO, MSTR, and BMNU, and HIMS, and they're always in the same 10 stocks. Okay, well, good luck. AI bubble is not scary if you're not in it, right? I mean, I'm not sure. We get constantly about this. Yeah, somebody's selling, right? Okay, so this is not rocket science either. More buyers than sellers, price goes down. People do ask me about this in private and, in gatherings and stuff, and they go like, why is the stock going down? I'm like, more sellers than buyers. They go, come on, man, you're better than that. I'm like, no, I'm not better than that. I'm just telling you, supply and demand. I mean, tomatoes and potatoes, seriously. I mean, look, I do pay attention to a lot of things differently, but all I'm saying is more sellers than buyers. Stuff is going to go down. I've been doing this for over 30 years. So when there's an imbalance created, okay, sellers overwhelm the buyers. What are the buyers going to do? They're going to go, okay, I'll buy some more, but I'll buy it at a lower level. Okay, cool. And then the next bid comes in. And then lower bid comes in, lower bid comes in. If the sellers keep overwhelming the buyers, the price is going to go down. Market is the best pricing mechanism on the planet. It'll adjust itself. Sometimes it overshoots up and down. And that's when you maybe can create an edge for yourself. But then I don't believe in any of that stuff. What gives? Well, yeah. What gives is the trend. The trend is down. The trend has been down since 4,700. We'll have a clear downtrend. And if you're listening to YouTube jockeys and, again, Tom Lee, much respect, but, every broken clock will be right twice. And his outlook is long-term, all that stuff. Okay, fine. I'm not arguing. I'm not disagreeing. I DCA'd more Bitcoin this morning. I only do DCA Bitcoin, and that's it. And take it out of the exchange, put it in my cold wallet, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do. And the other ones I'll trade. The proxies, BMNR, BMNU, SBET, MSTR, MSTU, whatever. But price is going down. It's in a downtrend. We're going to retest a low, I'm pretty sure. If we do make a lower low, then we have a problem, Houston. And we're going to get down to 2,400 or 2,300 on Ethereum. Then where is BMNR going to be? Where is BMNU going to be? Right? So I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know. So for ETH, your friends is selling if institutions adopt it. That's what Tom Lee's saying. Institutions are going to adopt everything on Wall Street is going to be adopting to the ETH network. Okay, we'll see. It hasn't happened yet. I mean, if all the institutions are buying, this is the question that's been asked to me. If all the institutions are buying and Tom Lee is buying, he's buying literally every week because he's taking advantage of his +1 MNAV situation, selling at the market shares and buying Ethereum because no other debt is doing it. They're not able to do it because all their MNAVs are under 1. I'm in SBET, it's a 0.77. So what will happen to BMNR if Ethereum stays the same but MNAV gets crushed, just like it has with MSTR? People don't understand it. People think it's just one-to-one. It doesn't work like that. I mean, Wall Street clearly talked. It's spoken. It says none of these DATs should be above 1 MNAV. None of these DATs should be carrying a premium. I agree. That's why I bought one at 0.85. We're at 0.77. You know? Look, I'm not trying to be a fear monger, or I'm not trying to just do this. I'm just telling you guys what I'm seeing. And my experience says we're catching falling knives if we're dealing with BMNR, BMNU, Ethereum, and this and that. Because don't mix technicals with fundamentals. Okay, fundamentals, great on Ethereum. Fantastic. It's going to be 8,000 next year. But it ain't there. It's 2,700. I have to deal with it, with what I see. And if you're accumulating for 5 years, you may or may be right, may be wrong. You may be 500, or it may be 10,000. But we're not there. The reality is we're at 2,800, on its way to 2,500. From the charts anyway. Not that I'm a huge believer in chopsticks, but then enough people watch it that just kind of go, well, it kind of gives you the indication, or it gives you the trend, right? I mean, trade within a trend. That's the other thing that the pivot is going to do. We're trading within a trend. Most of you don't like shorting things. Most of you like buying things. Okay, well, trade within an uptrend. Find the uptrend. 52-week high list will give you the uptrend. I don't know. I mean, I say scary only because it may be fear the market. I say scary only because it'll, yeah. I mean, NVIDIA is holding, right? That's the golden child of the AI trade. You know, I don't know about the private stuff that's going on with OpenAI and, you know, Grok and Gemini and whatever not. I'm Gemini being part of Google. I guess it's not private. But I'm not buying OpenAI's snake oil salesman or snake oil salesman's comments whatsoever. Tom Lee at this point is going, no. If you listen to Tom Lee and got into Ethereum without doing your research, it's on you. I mean, you may be pissed off at me for that comment. If you listen to somebody on the internet and without doing your research, without understanding MNAV, without understanding any other stuff, it's on you. Because I personally don't listen to my mother if she was alive, and I definitely wouldn't listen to my wife when I was if I'm picking stocks. Trend is down. Yes, the trend is down. You're into a downtrend. You're trying to guess a bottom. Okay, but then get out. Take your loss. What if BMNU goes to 3? It'll be worse. It certainly could. If BMNR goes to 25, BMNU looks like it'll be like 4, lower than last time. Last time I think it was 5. So act accordingly. I mean, look, I understand you're stuck. I understand you're in the hope and pray stage, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think Tom Lee's a fraud. I think Tom Lee has had great calls, and this may turn out to be a great call. So I'm not defending anybody on Wall Street, okay? Because I don't think anybody knows, including myself. But Tom Lee keeps repeating the same thing. I think he's consistent, right? So he's not changing his mind. He's putting him where, you know, his money where his mouth is. Okay. I mean, how's he a fraud? How is he a fraud? I don't know. I'm not defending, definitely not Jim Cramer, CNBC folks, or Tom Lee. So anyway, I'll answer some questions again. If you guys have it, put it up. If anybody wants to come on, I would love for you to come on and talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Here is the link. Okay. And you're holding until February and taking your loss. Okay. Well, hopefully by February, Ethereum will be 4,000, 5,000, whatever. And again, you're still listening to Tom Lee, though. Because that's what he's saying. Because he was saying at the end of the year, well, obviously that's not going to happen now. Now he pushed the can down the road, which he may do that in February. And then, I don't know. I can't do what you're doing. I can't trade like that. I mean, are you a trader? Or are you an investor? You have to find yourself. You have to figure out who you are. Because if you were a trader turned into a forced investor, that seems like you're one of those, right? I've met thousands of those people. You know, they get in a trade, they don't take the loss. I would highly recommend Defunct 1080 to go watch today's video. Again, it may not do you any good at the moment, but you need to figure out who you are, man. Are you a trader? Or are you an investor? If you're an investor, these prices may be gold, or may not. Again, and again, you know, a lot of people are in the false sense of security that selling options is risk-free. Nope, it's not risk-free, because that's what the theme has been over the last 2, 3, 4 years, right? All these fools on X, I call them fools because they deserve it. Oh, look at me! I sold options, I sold calls, I sold puts. I'm making so much money. You're not making shit. You're not doing shit. All you need is one of these. All you need is one of these. What if you're in Oracle? What if you're in Meta? What if you're in all these other ones that are taking a nosedive? And by the way, FYI, folks, we're only down 2% from all-time high. What will happen if the market sells off 20%? What's going to happen? So go to cash. Cash is a position, man. Yeah. A Palantir Tesla investor who made huge mistake, and I'm scared as hell. Okay. Tesla is about to break out. I'll probably buy Tesla or TSLL. Palantir, I'm not sure. Okay, you were an investor, and then you just were enticed by the BMNU option premiums, and you didn't understand probably 2x, 3x ETFs, how they function. You probably did listen to someone, and you know, you put yourself in a hole. That's what the markets are, man. Markets are tough. Again, I'm not saying I'm right, I'm wrong. I'm just saying, I like to call those people on X and TikTok posers, and then bullshit. They're a bunch of bullshit artists. Selling options carries risk, folks. Okay? Whoever says, oh, I sell puts, I sell calls, I make money. Look, there are some people who can successfully do it, but I have never seen one that it says, I blew my account selling options. I'm like, there are plenty. Somebody's losing money. I mean, not all of you could be millionaires, you know? So, again and again, there is a place. All I'm trying to do here, okay? And I've said this to my members group all the time, and some of them don't like it, and some of them like it. All I'm trying to do is, you need to have a full toolbox to deal with what's going on. Some macro, some technical. Definitely, if you're trading options, have a full toolbox of tools. There's not because selling puts, selling calls is options 101. Let's get to the next level. What's the next level? Second level Greeks. Understand how they affect each other. What are the risks of selling puts, selling calls? Because nobody certainly talks about the risks on X or TikTok or whatever. There are risks in everything. So once you have the full toolbox, right, and you add the money management to it, you should be okay. Because sometimes taking an L is better than getting blown out. Taking an L is okay. I took a bunch of L's this year, but I'm up because I took also a bunch of W's, which were larger than my L's. Well, this 2026, I'm only going to do that. I don't care if it's my mother. I will sell it. I don't care. If I have a 10, 12, 15% loss, that's my cutoff. And according to your account size and risk tolerance, gotta take the L, man. This gentleman here is talking about BMNU. Where would you be if you took a 15% loss and that was your money management? Where would you be? You wouldn't be here talking to me complaining about BMNU or Tom Lee, right? All I'm saying is make it as robotic as possible. Take an L. Taking an L is okay. Be a man. Just take an L. Absolutely it is. But then but that seems like everybody's toolbox. That's it. They have those two tools. Sell put, sell calls were good. Or buy leaps, sell, per man cover call. And that's not the tools. Right? Learn about synthetics, learn about how to structure trades, because each stock is different. Each situation is different. You have to have a full toolbox. And some tools you may use a lot more, meaning selling CSPs and, all that stuff. Maybe synthetics less, maybe, other things less. Maybe there's a tool in your toolbox that you're only going to use once a year. But if I'm a carpenter and I'm going to a job, I make sure my toolbox is ready, because I may run into a situation that may require that single tool that I'm just going to use only once. And have the tool. Once you have the tool, then you go, okay, yeah, this tool, I need this, because let me not just put a square peg into a round hole. It doesn't work. I don't care what kind of tool you have. Then you have to adjust, and you have to do this. You have to use the proper tool for a proper setup, for a proper structured trade. If you don't have the tools, don't trade. Don't do it. Because that's been the theme last 2-3 years. On an up market, people are selling puts, they're expiring worthless, or they're getting assigned, and then the market keeps going higher. Then they go turn around and sell a couple. It works. What's going to happen to all these people on an 18-month drag, beat your ass down, shoot you back at the house bear market? Okay, what happens? The Japanese yen carry trade happens, and we go down 20% in a flash. What happened to all those put sellers? You're going to be so deep in the money you don't know. And then you're going to hope and pray that the market puts a V bottom like it has done last 3 years. Every correction has been bought. Every dip has been bought, and go up again and again. I'm not saying I'm bearish, and I'm not trying to put scare tactics out there. But what I'm saying is reality. This has happened. I have seen these movies a million times before. Okay? Preserve your capital. Because that one time that you go to the well, that well may be dry. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. Wow. Why would I bag hold on a stock? Why? What kind of deal is that? Like, what do you know that the market does not know? Like, bag hold on a stock. Why? Just take the loss and get out. 15%. On the next trade, try to make 25%. You'll double your account every year. You can have a win rate of 50-50. Take 25% gains, 15% losses. You will double your account. Much more than double your account. Do the math. Actually, the video that's coming out today, no, I have a video that talks about it. Go check it out. You can have a 50% win rate. You can have 25% gains, 12.5% losses on each trade. Robotic. Put your stops, get out, get in. 50% win rate, right? You will be the super hotshot trader, hedge fund trader on Wall Street. I'm telling you. But bag holding for me, or I got assigned, it'll be okay. It'll come back up one day. How about the opportunity cost with other things that are happening? I don't know. You need to change your. You need to change the way you look at things. Selling options, hell yeah, is risky. Anyway, I'll answer some more questions. So let's go to the positions. Yeah, it's a meltdown. The red hat is definitely appropriate for today. You guys can see that. Let's go to the. Yeah, we're up to 654 on BMNU. Wonderful. We'll sell some more puts. Let's go to the option screen. Okay. BMNU 655. There you go. Well, okay. So my position, I'm long 3,500 shares. Average cost 778. We were at 13, 12. I had cover calls, 8, 9, 10 cover calls. They're all going to expire worthless, obviously. 8, 9, 10, 11 cover calls. Luckily, I took in on the 8s. I took in $1.20. Okay. I took in 95 cents on the 9s. I took in 70 cents on the 10s. I took in $1.20 on the 11s. So they're all going to expire worthless. So my cost basis will be probably about from 778 to 678. I may sell another round of cover calls, but I sold some puts. I sold some 7 puts today. In fact, I will sell some more 7 puts here. Yeah, I'll sell 5 more. So then I'll have 5,000 shares. Let's sell 5 more puts at 105. So that will give me 7 minus 105. What am I selling? 7 puts at 1 is 6. Yeah, that'll give me 595. I'll take it. Or should I go sell sixes? Yeah, 8 sevens and sixes. December 6 is 30-40 cents. That gives me 560. Yeah, let's go with the sixes at 40 cents. This is all for Friday, folks. Yeah, I don't know. Sevens will give me 660, 560. Yeah, I'll sell them at, sell the sixes tomorrow, or maybe today at 50 cents if they get there. This is for December 19th, Friday. Okay, order is in, 50 cents. I have ASST, obviously, leaps going out to the next January. These are the directional bets, long calls. BMNU is that, okay. Actually, you know what? Let me see. 81, 105, 110. 7 minus 110, 580. You know what? I think I'll just sell those. Or where are the eights? Eights are 2, 180, 286. I saw some eights, so I'm going to get assigned those if we're here. All the calls are going to expire worthless. Actually, at the end of this cycle, my cost basis will be exactly where it's at. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, we'll give it a day. Sell some puts tomorrow. I sold the sevens at 65 cents today. They're already 80 cents, $1.10. Yeah, I can sell some sevens at $1.10. That'll give me 580, 590. Yeah, that should be fine. Anyhow, I'm long 5,000 shares of Blaze AI, BCAI. Cost base is 243, 218 is the price. I sold some December 19th expiration threes against those. I was long 150. Now I'm only long 75, break even basically. But then I sold 2 cycles of weekly calls against them. Stock is 501. The other 75 I took in 30% profit. SBETs, there it is. Stock is 958. MNAV of 0.76. I had a long put debit spread. I sold those, took about, I don't know, $600 or so out of it. How do I hedge? I mean, I'm still 70% cash. I said 80%, almost 75%. So I'm looking at certain stocks to add. The 3-4 stocks I'm looking at are Lemonade. It's going to be in the 52-week high list pretty shortly. Tesla, obviously, and TSLL. Tesla's amazing. I mean, just very close to a breakout. There's Tesla. Deal with stocks that are going up, folks. Find a trend. Don't catch a falling knife. And if you are going to catch a falling knife, be quite nimble. Lemonade is like a Path is another one. Actually, Path I'm looking to buy. Where hopefully, if we get under 16, I'll give it a crack there. And WVE, Wave Life Sciences, a few more I'm looking to buy just for this week. Affirm. Yeah, it's just kind of going sideways. We need a little bit of a pullback there. Open is just consolidating. It just I keep finding support at 6. On the breakout, got to be patient with this one. On the breakout, I'm definitely going to be all over this thing. But other than that, yeah. IMVT. There you go. Deal with stocks like that, folks. Actually, I should have put a star next to that. Okay. And to be perfectly honest, let's go to my 52-week high list. Here's the 52-week high list, folks. There it is. Let's change it. Let's alphabetize it. There it is. How many stocks are there? These are all making 52-week high lists with the market selling off. Do you want to deal with BMNR, BMNU, or deal with these? Yeah. And I set it up. And you look at it, look how many stocks there are. And you can find the rotation. You won't even feel like you're selling off, actually, honestly. So a lot of financial stocks are in there. A lot of biotechs are in there. Okay, take the biotechs out if you don't like dealing with it. A lot of retailers are in there, surprisingly, you know. So I'm just going to deal with that. I have enough choices here, right here. Look at all this list, okay? And then if you're bearish, you can deal with the 52-week low list. There are a bunch of those. And these stocks are making lower lows, 52-week lows, while the market, look how many there are. Short these. I mean, again, I'm not trying to make it like a no-brainer, but I don't want to deal with, once I'm done with BMNU, I don't want to deal with it. I want to deal with uptrends. These all have uptrends. In fact, I'll give you a couple of examples. Let's just go to the top, ABCB. I don't even know what the company does. Not yellow. God damn. Okay. Here's ABCB making 52-week high. I don't even know what it is. Ameris Bancorp, of course, bank stock. Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to deal with. I don't want to deal with riffraff because some joker said it. ACT. How did I do that? Hold on a second. Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's do this. Let's put it to red. Okay, ACT. There's ACT making a 52-week high. Nice little uptrend there. Next one. AEO. There it is. American Eagle Outfitters making a new high there. Why am I dealing with BMNU? Right? Yeah, so it's going to be next year, folks. I'm telling you. And you make a watch list out of this, right? I mean, if you look at AEO, you wouldn't even think market's going down, or you wouldn't even think of Japanese yen carry trade. Why fuck around with any of this shit? Because Tom Lee said so. AIZ. There it is. New high, new 52-week high. Assurant Inc. Nice, slow and steady. Yeah, okay, it's not exciting. It's not exciting as, BMNR. Okay, great. Well, fine. You put on a synthetic on and make more money on this one than you would ever make on BMNU. And then people go like, here are the nosebleeds, Oklo. That's on the 200-day now. If that takes that out, it's going down to 50. A lot of fools are in NBIS. That's retesting. IREN, that's making a lower low. Why am I dealing with these things? Why am I guessing where they're going to stop? I mean, I'll deal with it when they get to 200 EMA. Okay. But in the meantime, just deal with something that's going to give you a breather here, because trying to find the bottoms on a lot of these things is not easy, but anyhow, answer some more questions. Go have a couple, and then I'll put some more of these AIZ Assurant. Well, we looked at that. Let's look at next one, AL Air Lease Corp. That's a takeover, so that game is over. There's a $17 number, up a couple of bucks today. ANRO or ANDE. I don't even know what these companies do, but I don't really care. ANDE, 52-week high. ANRO. Alto Neurosciences. Look at this. How beautiful that is. What else is there? Why are we dealing with the other shit? I mean, right? Okay, so let's talk about Ethereum. ETHA is the ETF. Retesting the low. I mean, we're coming in. We stopped exactly where it's still. We broke the 200 EMA. This is all chopstick stuff. So if you take it, take it. We bounced exactly to it. Death cross is happening. 50 over 200. We're going to retest. If we make a lower low, next one, the 1663 on ETHA. And same thing is happening with IBIT. IBIT is definitely testing the low. We'll have some more support down to 42. IBIT is the iShares Bitcoin ETF. And here is MSTR. The whole internet goes MSTR, MSTR. I'm like, okay, what about it? This is like the downtrend, man. I mean, here's BMNR. I don't know. Let's just blow it up a little bit so you guys can see it. You guys see this downtrend? Okay. And the downtrend. It bounced to 50 EMA and then it's rolled over. Okay. It didn't roll over by itself, by the way. It did because Ethereum did it. So this will follow the Ethereum. This is the tail of the dog. And BMNU is the tail of the dog of the dog. And there's BMNU. Last low was 461, I see. Okay, well, we may get there. So let me not rush sell puts. That's all there is to it. I don't know. And then, or you could be comfortably dealing with these types of things. I mean, what else is in there? ASTI is in there. I don't know what they do, but Ascent Solar, let's not mess with those things. Again, not everyone is going to be what you want to do. Bank of America is in there. BBVA is in there. BBVA, what was that one? Banco Bilbao. There's a lot of finance stocks, like I said, are in the 52-week high list, right? So interest rate cuts are coming. Goldman is in there. Citi's in there. You know, there's a lot. There's 150 names today. And some names that you wouldn't think they'd be in there, but they're in there. And now, once you make a list, like for example, Path was in that list. That's the ones I'm looking to buy on pullbacks, right? Okay. So UiPath earnings came out. It was really good. Now we're pulling back 1635. We got up to 1935. Okay, so we get down to middle Bollinger Band, maybe about 1562, 1570 range. Has a gap here. It could fill the gap at the 50 EMA at 1515. You patiently wait. Then you get in, and then you can make your couple of points, 3 points, whatever you're going to make. We're trading, folks. We are trading. Lemonade, same thing. Made a 52-week high. Now it's pulling back. Okay, make a list because today Lemonade is not on the 52-week high list. Fastly, another one. Made a 52-week high. Consolidating, going sideways. Okay, cool. No problem. That's all there is to it. Just make a list. Literally write it with hands. I mean, I put in like 30 stocks. I hand wrote it. WVE, I mean, okay. So they did a secondary. Earnings were fantastic. That's why this meltdown happened. Absolutely no volume pullback. Okay. We pull back to maybe 12 and a half, 13. Okay. You know, give yourself a chance and get in, but be patient. And I will certainly get into all of these, right? I'm watching it. Like Dollar General was a 52-week high. It's actually making a 52-week high today. Interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that one. GM is in that list, believe it or not. Okay, why is this fucking thing doing this? I don't want this now. Anyway, so GM making 52-week high list today. Okay, cool. There's a lot of them. Yeti's in there, Photolabs. There's so many stocks that are just doing that. You don't even feel like you're in a down market. Yeah, that's what I want to do. You know, I'll still mess around with the falling knives because they give you there is a good opportunity there, obviously. But if you're stuck in something, I would highly recommend you get your ass out of with little damage as possible. Oh, you're right about taking losses. I'm so screwed. Well, I don't know. You're being too negative now. I understand you. You're being too negative. Good morning, John. Back holding a stock is 10x better than being destroyed by slippage. Well, slippage hasn't hurt you yet. It will hurt you over a year. Back holding is definitely not a good mindset. Back holding a stock is 10x better? No. In both cases, you're losing. What will be your confirmation to enter Lemonade? It's made a 52-week high. It's pulling back anywhere somewhere in here. You start scaling in, and then if it breaks down, if your numbers are 25, 12 and a half down from here, get the heck out of Dodge. Take an L. It should make a 52-week high, though. It looks a beautiful chart. You know, there's Lemonade. COPX. I'll take a look. You know, people go like, "Oh, you make it sound so easy." I'm like, "No, I'm not trying to make it sound. Actually, it's very complicated." Lemonade, 52-week high, my man. There's Lemonade. Oh, never mind. There's lemonade, lemon. Why is this doing this? There's lemonade. Looks like a consolidation period before a new high. Just like here. It's like here. Looks good to me. They made a deal with Tesla too, by the way. COPX. Beautiful. Whatever it is. Oh, copper miners ETF. Yeah, with ETF, be careful with these things. Looks good to me. Were you there on the breakout at 65? Because that's when I made a 52-week high. Just saying. Now you just ride it. You know, trailing stops. Enjoy the ride. It's been made a 52-week high list here. Then consolidated. This looks like gold, actually. I think it looks gold and NUGT doing a lot of gold stocks on that list too, by the way. Yeah, gold is about to break out again. Okay, I don't know what happened to my charts. I don't like it. Fuck this. Sergio's chart. Okay, there we go. Yeah, look, gold looks good. NUGT looks good. A lot of gold stuff. Gold miners are in that list. Right there. Yeah, I don't know. You know, either go with 52-week high list, 52-week low list. There's a bunch of stocks. There's 10,000 stocks. Pick yourself 150. As opposed to the same damn 10 that the whole internet talks about. I don't know. I'm just fascinated by the mindset, though. Mindset of the internet. Oh yeah, this is the only stocks that we trade. No. There's 10,000 stocks out there. Oh, it's 684. Okay, well, yeah, I'm hoping I get assigned to have a full position. I'll go probably 5,000-6,000 shares on BMNU. If I can lower my cost basis down to like sixes, you know, just sell a couple of cycles of calls, your cost basis will be down to zero. So I'm like, okay, that game I can play. Okay, yeah. Anyway, and they do carry a shit ton of premium. I mean, look at these put premiums, right? 230, 240 IV. Unfortunately, it doesn't have weeklies. That's the problem with BMNU. But just for example, you know, after Friday, if we end up January's, yeah, no problem. On any bounce, you can sell the January 8s, 9s, 10s like I did for like $1, $1.50 again, you know? And then if they can take it, they take it. If they don't, then lower the cost basis into the 5s and then sell a couple more puts if it goes lower. At some point, this will work out for me. I don't know for people who are holding from 16, 20, whatever. But all I'm saying is, yeah, I think I'm down a couple thousand on the position, actually. Yeah, I'm down 2,800 on the position overall. 3 days ago, I was up 12 grand when it was at 12. But you were playing the game, you know? And that's because we had to cover calls. You just kind of feel stuck and blah, 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 blah. That's why I don't like cover calls, right? Okay. Kind of keeps you in, right? It keeps you like in a tangle. Like you feel like you're a fish in a net. Like, no, again, that's hindsight. Would I have sold at 1250? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know, man. All I know is cover calls are a headache. It's good and bad. In this case, in my case, it will work out because the premiums are so good. Because my cost basis is low. But if your cost basis is 10, 12, 15, 20, you're dealing with volatility drag, all these ETFs, 2x ETFs, then what? You know? I mean, poster child of that is MSTU, MSTR. Just had a reverse split. Anyhow, all right. We did it an hour. Enough damage done. COPX looks nice. Yeah. All right, folks. Nobody wants to come on? Anybody? No? Yeah, you gotta take losses, man. You gotta learn to take losses. Until you learn to take losses, you haven't arrived. You're not gonna be right every time. And market's not gonna save you every time. But a lot of people in the last 2, 3, 4 years haven't seen a bear market in their lives. And it doesn't have to be index. Because we don't own well, I do, but most people don't own the index. They own individual stocks. It's not a stock market. It's a market of stocks. And you hold the stock, you know, like I said, Market at all-time high, there's like 70 stocks making 52-week lows. What if you're one of those? I don't know. That would be painful. So, yeah, that's it. So we'll see you guys on. Please check out the video today, noon, coming out. Talks about the pivot, talks about money management. Check out the video on Friday, Canary in the Coal Mine, about the carry trade, if you're thinking about it or if you're worried about it, because a lot of ex-fools are talking about it now. Check out what else? Oh, check out my website. Free newsletter. I'm not selling you anything. You'll learn a lot about investing. If you're a more advanced trader, you can become a member on the YouTube channel. Email me, Sergio at sergioavadian.com. I'll send you the Telegram chat group link. And so you get my trades live. Again, none of this trading financial advice. Okay. Get my trades live. You get the trade recap at the end of the day. And you get a free, not free, obviously, members live stream, every Wednesday or Thursday. And those are really cool. That's when you accelerate your learning process. Just click join on the YouTube channel and send me an email, Sergio at sergioavadian.com. What else? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and put a thumbs up. My YouTube manager says it helps. And on the website, free newsletter. There's about 10, 11, or 12 articles already that will be the foundation of your financial literacy world. Trust me, folks. Just go subscribe. It's free. Comes out every Monday. In fact, what's today? Oh, today's Monday. Yeah, at noon, in an hour. You're going to get a free newsletter. Go subscribe and tell your friends and relatives, because financial literacy is in the toilet in this country, and doesn't seem like a lot of people care about it. I certainly care about it. I run a much, much, much larger channel on YouTube, and that cohort definitely needs financial literacy lessons. And I think everybody needs financial literacy in the US, from elementary school kids all the way to college. And, I'm going to do my best to do it, one person at a time, 1% at a time. So with that said, hopefully I'm wearing a green hat on Wednesday. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to go have a cup of coffee, finish the day, lick some wounds, and then see where we go. Again, I'm making it sound like I'm fine. I have, again though, but what happens is that, with or without cover calls, you have a 12, max gain on that position would be $15,000 for me in a month, with an amazing, equity efficiency rate, right? Okay. You don't take that. Again, hindsight's 2020. I coulda, woulda, shoulda, woulda. Well, market's giving me 685. What am I doing at 685 is the question. You could have coulda, woulda, shoulda. No. Okay. Market's giving me 685 on BMNU. My cost basis is 778. At the end of this week, it'll be 678. I will get assigned more shares at under 7. Okay, lower the cost basis. One cycle of cover calls, again, aggressive cover calls, maybe, or just keep the shares, take a pop. If there is a pop, get out, like 10, 15K. Again, allocation, right? I could have gone all in. It doesn't work like that. I'd be broke. 15% of the account is allocated. By the end of this, maybe 18%, and that's about it. And you can go to 3. I don't know. I certainly don't want to see it at 3, but it's a manageable situation. Just manageable. And I'm not feeling anxious about it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But it's certainly manageable situation. It would have been a lot more manageable if they had weekly options as opposed to monthly, because going out a month, like BMN, you can go anywhere. You could go to 2, then up to 15, back to 3, which it has. It went from 460 to 12 and a half, 13, and back to whatever now. So that's why cover calls, not my cup of tea. But I'll do it for a couple of cycles until we have some sort of resemblance of bottom on Ethereum. While we're waiting, it's a good thing to do it. And I certainly don't want to miss the leg up. So if there is a leg up, but I don't see it. I see downtrend. So on a downtrend, and if you can manage cost basis, if you can manage these things, I'm not completely against it. But in most cases, For example, on 52-week high stocks, stocks just making higher highs, higher lows. Why do I need to sell cover calls for? Let the horse do its thing. It's a beautiful horse. It's running without a jockey. Anyway, so hats off. Stay safe. Be well. Market's going to do what it's going to do, folks. You know, one thing is for sure. If you're looking at your Robinhood account or any other account every 15 seconds, the position is way over your head. Size-wise, anyway. You should be able to walk away. If it's all working according to plan, you shouldn't be looking at your quotes every 30 minutes, or not even every 30 seconds. Most people are glued at it. If you're doing that, that means your position size is way too large for your account or your risk tolerance or whatever. So that's the first clue. Okay. All right. See you guys Wednesday, trading with Sergio, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Adios.